Today, we take care of a sagging headliner in our Cooper S. Welcome back to the Auto Obsessive Garage. Chadwick with you again for another installment of Project Mini Green Bean. That's our 2005 Mini Cooper S. Today, guys, we're going to take care of a problem that plagues many Mini Coopers from this period, a sagging headliner. So if your headliner's got a little more sag than you want, I'm going to show you how to replace that without spending a lot of money and having someone else do the job for you. It's not an easy job, but it can be done. So let's get in the garage and get a little less saggy. I didn't think that one through. Time to work on this sagging headliner we have inside the Mini. It is not a good time because the rest of the interior is really nice, but that is not so nice. Pretty standard on these vehicles. A lot of people think you can put some glue up there, spray some adhesive, and just push those sections that are sagging, but that's not the case. These materials that are used for roof liners usually have a foam backing, and it's actually the foam that adheres to the cardboard underneath. And what happens is that foam breaks down over time, and that causes the material to separate and sag. There's no way to really fix it without putting new upholstery up there. So I think I'm going to get something similar, since it will match the A-pillars and the B-pillars, that kind of grayish color. So I'm going to have to source some new material, but I'm going to show you guys how to take this headliner out. You actually have to remove the whole cardboard thing, pull it out back through the hatch. So let's do that. Everything's gonna come down. Your side sun visors, all your lights, dome lights, things of that nature, the oh shit handles over there. All that kind of fun stuff. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. Everything can be accessed and removed with Phillips head screws or a tiny flathead screwdriver or other tool, interior tool, trim tool to get these little caps off. And we have a lot to do, so go ahead and pull everything out, guys. We'll start right here. And we don't have to worry too much about our headliner getting damaged in this process because, well, we're going to put new material up there. It's a start. One thing you do want to be aware of, if you do have lights, like here with the vanity mirrors and these connections up here for the lights, you will have connectors on the back, electrical connectors you have to undo. So remember that before you just rip it down from the ceiling. Yeah, and use some patience here. Just carefully pry these electrical connectors down. You don't want to rip this out or yank it too hard and mess all this up. But nice and easy. And some of this plastic can obviously break if you hulk it like I like to do with everything. And then you can just simply undo that connector and you're good to go. You'll have to remove this metal later. We're going to be reusing that with the new fabric on top. Use a little pry tool to get these little caps off, and underneath that you'll see the regular Phillips head screws for the visor, so just put your drill up there. Slowly get those out of there. And we'll do that twice for this one. You'll have an electrical connector, much like you had with the front lights here. So go ahead and just disconnect that after you pull these two screws out. It's almost like they used a different way to attach each one of these items. So you can use a little pry tool to pop off these sides, and you can see the little Phillips head hidden in there. It's kind of an adventure trying to figure out how to remove everything in this car. Each side has one of those that flaps open. Just take that screw right up on the side here. You can lift the center dome light, drop the plastic, and you can see the two hidden screws there. Diagonal across from each other, that can be removed to drop that whole unit. Taking down the rearview mirror can be a bit tricky if you don't know how to do it. You simply turn the entire mirror 90 degrees towards the driver's seat and it will pop down. You'll have your electrical connector in there. You need to make sure you obviously take care of that. To get access to the connector, you actually have to pull your rear view mount. It comes apart in two pieces, like so. Then you'll have access to the connection, your electrical connection that you need to disconnect. This is what it should look like on your ceiling inside the car once you get everything removed. Don't worry about your A-pillar, B-pillar, or C-pillars. You can actually flex the material up around it, so you don't need to take those off. But that is what we're looking at, folks. Now we're going to try to pull the entire cardboard roof liner and everything right out of the car through the back hatch here. Remember, for our A-pillar, B-pillar, and C-pillars, we're just going to pull those back enough to get the material out from behind, the cardboard backing, and kind of take it out. It can fold a little bit, it's got a little pliability, And again, everything done in moderate force, guys. No hulking stuff. You can break your plastic pillars, you can break the cardboard, bend it and deform it horribly, but we're gonna take it nice and easy and then pull the whole unit out. So what I've actually done off camera is worked it around each of the pillars, pulled it down and kind of folded it a little bit. There's a little pull pin you have to pull that's up near the rear view mirror. Don't miss that. And now we should be able to work it out. You kind of push it to the front of the car to get it off this little back rubber insulation here. And we should be able to pull it out. Just go easy. I've got a table here off to the side that we're gonna lay it on. Let's get this out of here. Just make sure your connectors don't get caught up in this. We'll just have to fold it a little bit. It's got a little pliable play to it. Again, if it's resisting hard, don't force it, guys. All right. And here is our Mini Cooper S roof liner, the cardboard section. So we're gonna flip it over and I'll show you where the cloth is. And inside the car, it's gonna look just like this. How fun is that? To get these metal tabs up, I simply used a flathead screwdriver, pry it around it. When you get enough, you can simply reach underneath, pull it all down, pull that metal out. Don't discard that. You'll be needing this when you put your new roof liner material on. I'm gonna try to source some material close to this, but if you wanna do something wild with your Mini, now's the time to do it. You can actually find any suitable material that's gonna hold and go ahead and do something unique. I am just gonna keep it stockish, so I'll find a very similar material to this with a similar foam backing. But I'm gonna remove this material next. This material comes up sort of like a fruit roll up off of the wrapper, so just, and you can see how much of the foam has actually failed here. Easily separates. And now this is not supposed to be covered in foam, this is supposed to be that nice board material. So we have to get all this foam. You can see how it comes off. I'm gonna use a straight wire brush to get all that off of there. And I'm gonna vacuum as I go. I'm just gonna use a stiff wire brush like this. You don't have to use metal or brass or copper or bronze or whatever material. Just a stiff bristle brush will be enough. This stuff comes up pretty easy, but we wanna make sure we get it all. So let's get to scrubbing. After a ton of brushing, a ton of vacuuming, this is what you should be looking at in front of you. You can see the glue pattern from the factory. The surface here is still incredibly tacky. That's probably gonna help with placing the new cover or the new material, so that'll be nice. But yeah, this is what you wanna get it down to. You don't wanna leave any of that foam because it is gonna jeopardize the ability for the new headliner to adhere to this cardboard backing. Here's the plan, friends, for putting this roof liner back in the Mini. You want to have plenty of space to work because you don't want to be spraying adhesive on anything important, and being able to maneuver the roof piece is very important. As far as adhesive goes, I'm going to go with this 3M headliner adhesive right here. This is pretty good quality, should go on pretty thick. I'll show you guys how to do that. You're going to need something good. Don't try to use random glues. Make sure you get the stuff right for the job. What you're going to see me do first is fit the fabric over the entire length of the headliner. You're going to want overhang because you're going to have to tuck and glue that. Don't worry about where you need to put holes. The holes are gonna come after your adhesive is already dried up. You don't wanna be moving that around too much. Make sure your hands are very clean for this. You don't wanna be pressing on that new headliner and getting it all dirty and stained already. So just a couple tips there. I'm gonna open my material, lay it out. We're gonna then fold it over in half and do one side at a time. That way we get full coverage. Looks great. You guessed it. Same process for the other side. We're going to fold it over to where our adhesive line is in the middle and do the same thing. And here's the headliner connected to the headboard there. Looking really smooth across there. You can see the different bumps and areas that need to have bumps. The recess section for the door handles, where those will go. That's the front instrumentation, where all the lights are. Things like that, the dome light. But look at that. Looking pretty smooth. Came out really good. This material is very nice. Our next goal is to trim this excess. You only want to leave maybe 2 inches so you can tuck it up underneath the headboard. And that's going to help the headboard stay on the edges. We're going to leave a little bit around the corners because in the corners we're going to have to do these relief cuts so we can fold the material up underneath. So let's go ahead and trim this down more to size. So just give yourself about 2 inches all the way around. So for the flat sides, real simple, just adhesive, and we glue it down. Now for the cutout sections, like these loops that go around where your pillars are, this is the V pillar in the middle, we're gonna cut relief cuts since it's rounded, and then fold it up that way. Relief cuts are simply, it's gonna look like a sun's rays. Basically it allows you to fold that material. Just make sure you don't cut too far in. Same with the corners here. These corners tend to need relief cuts too, where this is gonna be the C pillars in the rear. Same kind of logic applies there. Same with the A pillars here in the front. You're gonna cut the relief lines right here, fold that material up under. All glued down, the edges are all trimmed up, glued down as well. The next thing on our checklist is to cut out our holes. You don't have to cut them out completely, just enough so whatever you're putting through, whether it be a oh shit handle, a sun visor, a light, just so that can be placed in that hole. So we're gonna go through and cut out those holes very carefully. You don't wanna cut too far because then you're gonna obviously see that in your fabric. Let's get some holes. I've gone and cut all the holes in our headliner, so now it looks like crap, basically. But seriously, these holes do not need to be perfect. Plastic attachments, accessories, lights, hand grips, all that kind of stuff is gonna kind of cover up your imperfect holes. So no worries about that. This should work fine. There are a couple things we need to do. We need to put a plastic piece right here. That's for a vent. And in the front there's two metal frames, which you need to install right here before you put this back in the car. Let's go ahead and do that at this time. There's the plastic that attaches to the air vent, all in place. And you can see our metal up here, installed like so. That's for the dome light in the front, the reading lights. And then there's a separate little air vent thing there, so. We've wedged the headliner into the Mini. Next step, I'm definitely gonna need both hands to do this. I can't really film it, but we're gonna go ahead and connect all the connectors we can, because once we lock this over the A pillar, B pillar, and C pillar, we're not gonna have access to the top of this. So let's go ahead and connect all our connectors, make sure they're going through the holes they're supposed to go through. That way we won't have to undo it once we put it up. But here it is, it's a tight fit. You gotta kind of taco it, fold it a little bit, slide it in. And we've got the headliner all mounted up in the car. We obviously just have to put all our little fun things back on. And let me tell you guys, the MVP for this job is gonna be a pry tool. Similar to something like this, you wanna use plastic so you don't damage the headliner. You also wanna make sure this thing is super clean. I cleaned it with isopropyl alcohol so I wouldn't be staining the new headliner. But you're gonna use this to pry those plastic pillars away so you can slide your headliner underneath. I'm pretty happy with how it looks in there. It is time to put all our goodies up there.